Hello again, and thank you so much for tuning in to our last video in our series on racism and racial trauma. Again, my name is Liz Cook. I'm a staff psychologist at the Counseling Center, and in this video, myself and JD, another psychologist, are going to talk to you a little bit about activism. We'll talk about activism as a form of self-care and community care, ways to engage in activism, and finally, how to prevent burnout when engaging in activism. Activism can be a form of coping. Audre Lorde once said, "Caring for myself is not self-indulgence, it is self-preservation, and that is an act of political warfare." Caring for yourself by engaging in activism can help stifle feelings of helplessness or hopelessness. Activism also helps to reaffirm the power of our Blackness and our connectedness. It reminds us that we're not alone in our goals, hopes, and belief that things can be better. And finally, activism is a way of caring for the community by empowering community members to speak for themselves and to not let outsiders speak for them. It's important to recognize that there's no one way to engage in activism. Everyone has different strengths and different limitations, so it's important to find a way to engage in activism that feels safest and most productive for you as an individual.
Some examples of activism and advocacy efforts include personal endeavors, such as liking and sharing social media posts from other activists, and speaking up when you hear bigotry and/or misinformation within your social circles. For more community-level engagement, consider the following: letter writing, exercising your right to vote, contacting elected officials, signing petitions, and participating in protests. If you're looking for other ways to get involved, consider supporting grassroots organizations within your local community. That could include bringing resources, supplies, donating your time. Here are a few organizations that are located in the Towson and Baltimore area. Check out the links and websites below. And as you do that, also a word of caution: be discerning in what organizations you give to. When you donate money, especially to larger organizations, it can sometimes be unclear where the money is going. So do your research. Give to smaller, more local organizations. And remember that giving is not just about money. Supplies can be just as, if not more, important.
Burnout describes the emotional exhaustion and withdrawal experienced as a result of increased workload. When referencing activism burnout or battle fatigue specifically, this can include the physical exhaustion of planning, organizing, and participating in protests and different advocacy efforts, as well as the emotional and psychological exhaustion that accompany the ongoing and never-ending fight against systems of oppression.
There can be a few different causes of burnout, but one of the main ones is group infighting. Sometimes within an activist group, people become stressed and begin looking for a scapegoat. And in the course of doing so, folks begin fighting amongst themselves and can lose sight of what the actual common goals are. Another cause of burnout can be Superman syndrome, or feeling like you need to save the world. Oftentimes, activism work can be slow, and it may appear that there's no progress being made or not enough progress being made. And finally, another cause of burnout can be having unrealistically high standards of what can be accomplished in a certain amount of time.
Some symptoms of burnout can include withdrawing from others, decreased energy, strong deviations from typical behavior, and can vary from person to person. Symptoms specific to burnout include feeling like activism is taking over your life, difficulty making decisions, growing pessimism, and irritability.
One way to recover from or avoid burnout can be by taking space. Whether that's taking space from other people or from activism work, taking space can be a good way of self-regrouping, a way of reminding yourself what's important to you and what you want to focus on. It can also be helpful to remind yourself of successes and progresses that have been made. Oftentimes in activism work, it can feel like not enough is being accomplished fast enough. Reminding yourself of what has been accomplished can act as important fuel for you to keep going. Similarly, engaging in self-care acts as fuel in order for you to avoid burnout. It can also be helpful to know when to walk away from people who are determined to misunderstand you, or people who engage with you and engage in discussions about activism work just as an exercise of intellectualizing bigotry. And finally, another way to avoid and recover from burnout is to learn how and when to step back and say no. Again, we want to do as much as we can sometimes to change the world and make it a better place, but it's also okay to say you don't have enough space or you don't have time for something and instead take a step back.
All right, Toss and Tigers, that's a wrap. Thank you so much for taking the time to hang out with Liz and I during this 3-part video series. If you happen to miss any of the other videos, be sure to take a look at those so you have access to all of the great content that we covered. We hope you found this helpful. As a quick reminder, remember that here at TU, support is available and accessible. All you have to do is give us a call. Check out our number at the bottom of the screen. That's 410-704-2512. We hope to hear from you when you're ready. On the next page, you'll find some contact information and different resources that are linked on our website. Check us out. Thanks again for taking the time, and we hope to see you soon.